Oh, what was that? Oh, what was that, guys? What? What? Oh, shit. They're floating. No? Where the hell did they go? Well, shit, I guess I'll give them the whole 12 grams of pellets. I weighed it out. This is me trying to figure out how much these guys are actually going to eat. There'll be 15 wild hybrids in there and 1 koi. And 2 little baby Corydora cats. Oh, as well as the 2... or at least 1.5. I haven't looked under the rocks. I can't find the 4th crawfish, but I'm supposed to have 2 breeding pairs. This one right here just lost its claw yesterday in a fight with one of the smaller ones. They are either... What? This might be a good video of them fighting. They're mostly territorial, and that's where they get a lot of their aggression from. Especially, I haven't fed them in over 24 hours now, so they're going to be aggressive. I'm surprised that they are not eating more. I guess they are all swarming. This is a new kind of food for them. They've never ate and they're not familiar with, but these guys will eat anything. I think that's why I love them so much. Oh, as well, there's one goldfish right there. He got like a little nip when I first put him in here from one of the bigger bluegills. Or it might have been this one right here, this guy right here. Where's he going? Oh, he's got it in his mouth. Oh, he's holding it in his mouth. Oh, what you got that piece of food for? Yourself? Oh, huh? He's got it for himself. I guess my next major purchase on my, what I like to call, this is my native display tank, and although not everything in this tank is native, the hybrids came from all from within about 5 miles of my house. It was 2 different ponds, and every single one of these fish were already marked for bait or to be harvested as bait fish, and I wanted them as pets. So it's actually, I guess technically not my koi. My very good friend that also does tanks, fish tanks, but I guess he does freshwater, but he likes the tropical fish, and I guess the more expensive ones. I find just as much, and most of the time even more beauty in fish, you know, that although from being a good example of their species, are nothing spectacular. So that's the kind of fish that I like, and these hybrids are probably going to be out of here pretty soon. They're too aggressive and they need to go in their own tank, so I'll separate the species, keep my 2 full-blooded bluegills in this 30-gallon that I've got, and then I'll take the other smaller ones and split them up between 1 or 2 different 10 gallons, and I think if I could rehome them, I could do that, but they're not worth nothing to anybody except me, so I will have to just keep them in their own little system. Perhaps they only get a hang-on back filter, but this is what I'm running now. for my main tank, which I only have one tank now. I've got my 10-gallon under this one is a sump refugium. And this is a 30-gallon I got, which I've been having so much fun with. The little goldfish, he's like white. He's kind of a pearlescent white. He's learned to get out of the way fast. When these big fish are eating, he's survived by filtering the sand and just getting the crumbs. But now I have the crawfish that do that. He's gotten stronger after his injuries healed up about 4 or 5 months ago when I put him in this system with the 15 hybrid. But he's lived through all that and healed up. And now he gets up there and fights for food like everybody else, just like the big fish. Let me see what I got here. I can't really watch what I'm filming and point the camera simultaneously, but okay, so that is actually my favorite fish, and his name is Pokey. I guess we'll say, since I don't name them all, I am one of those fish owners that I like to name every one of my fish, but some of them are similar looking, and so then I would just assign that, particular species of fish a name, unless they had distinctive marks. But I know most people do not like to name their fish. I like to. I just haven't named everybody yet. All these hybrids look the same. You can only tell, or I can only tell, a difference by the size of them. And not on all of them, but this right here, this is a typical, what we call, I guess it's a rock bass mixed with a largemouth bass. If you're familiar with fish species and genus assignments, rock bass is a pseudonym, and a rock bass is not actually a bass. It is a sunfish. And so I love these guys. I mean, so basically, I'm assuming when you get a 50% hybrid, it's 50% rock bass and 50% largemouth bass. So what would you call that? I think that's what's it called, like F1 hybrid. So that's the F1 of the rock bass and the largemouth, which I don't know that for sure. I'm just assuming that he's still got something in his mouth. I put some of those, what are they called? The self-replicating crayfish in here a couple months ago, and there was one. Where's it at? Here, he's still hanging out. Yeah, I love you too, Bubby. He wants me to throw some worms or a big fat cricket in there for him. I guess that's what he's waiting for. But motherfucking, I got some crayfish, or they weren't these kind of crayfish that I've got now. That you're talking about, like these are. I think these are the ones that you eat. These are Louisiana clawfish or something. I'm not certain. I'm just saying they're a different kind of species. But I had the little clear crawfish, or not crawfish. I guess they call them blue lobsters or whatever. My feeder supply near where I live, they had some as babies. Motherfucking bought them for as you use as a feeder on my hybrids. Put it on the way home to get them. I kept looking at them in the bag, and I'm like, I don't want to feed you guys. So I kept them in the bottom tank for about 3 weeks. I kept them quarantined from my fish because they are as carnivorous as you will let them be. But so I knew they would eat them as soon as they got in here, or at least try to eat them. So I eventually said, okay, fuck it. Let me put them in there. So I get food, and I feed them on one side, and then I put the clawfish in the tank where they can't see what I'm doing, like I'm messing around with the rocks in the mid, you know, my little rocks caves, and so they just think I'm arranging them, and I put those clawfish in here. After they don't notice, it's like, as long as their bellies are full, they won't try to eat people. But I'm trying to get a shot of the claw that somebody broke yesterday. I have one crawfish. He's missing a claw on his left side, or her left side. I'm not sure how to sex him. And it was on this side of the tank. I can't find it. I'm really close as well. I don't do YouTube videos a lot, but I want to share my tank with you if you would like to check it out. And putting these guys in, when my friend actually surprised me and gave me a breeding pair, because he bought a male and a female for himself and a male and a female for me. One time he went to the fish store, and I wasn't with him, and he gave me mine. And I guess I got the more docile ones because he ended up not having room in his tank for these. They were kind of taking over. I mean, they would just run around the outside. See, my hybrid fish over in this tank, they corral the crawfish, so you know, they stay out of the way. But on his tank, they would stay on the glass outside because I'm not sure if he's just got too many fish, or I think he's got so many different species of fish. I'm feeling like maybe they were super scared of one of them, or because they're so colorful. All of his fish are tropical, and so these crawfish that are native to the United States would not be, for sure, not be used to seeing any kind of, you know, blue and you know, silver spotted, you know, or silver striped pictus, or, you know, or something like that. That I think it just freaks them out. Natural fight or flight instincts kick in. Shellfish, you know, don't really have a lot of senses to go by in nature, so I mean, if they can see something moving that they feel is a threat, it's always going to be, you know, fight or flight time. In the case of crawfish, they will just keep trying to get out of the glass, and they'll do laps around the tank. I used to have two little water plants planted right here, and they were doing good. They were growing and all that. And when I put the first pair of crawfish in there, they started to do laps, but I guess after they got, my fish were trying to eat them immediately as well, so they were getting pecked all everywhere, you know, from the fish. So they immediately learned that they have to hide. And my fish are kind of like, after they hang out with you for a while, if they don't eat you, then you can, you know, you can live happily in the tank until they get hungry, in which case they are going to go looking for something to eat. And they love clawfish. You can see her filtering the food right there. And I don't like all the air bubbles on a on the display tank, because I feel like it obscures from the view of your aquaria. But when I got the Crawfish, they had to have the additional air stone capacity, so I didn't get a bigger air pump or anything. I just still have it's probably for 5 to 10 gallon tank, but I also have 350, probably 400 gallons an hour of flow coming from that tube right there. That white tube you see in front of the return is from my lifter pump, and most people put that in the sump, and I used to drain it over, like, straight into the drain on the overflow. But for now, and that's how I want to have it plumbed. But I need to drill this tank like a mofo. I'm gonna put a hole right in the middle, all the way over to the right for my drain, and then I'll put a hole, 2 inches from the top, maybe 1.5 inches from the top on the left side, so my water flow will be going like I've got it. I like the left to right thing, and that way I'm turning over as much of my tank as the capacity of my drain and filter and return pump. So I wonder if anybody's put one of those 1,1500 gallon per hour direct current controllable pumps on a system similar to the left to right flow that I use on a smaller tank. I wonder, because I've found, like, when I have the same amount of flow and the same filter, same amount of flow on a smaller tank, with this filter I was running the 10 gallon, and then I did the math. It turned that 10 gallon plus the I was running like a 12 gallon sump, so it would turn that 24 gallon or 22 gallons over like in less than a minute. So every minute I was running the contents of my tank and my sump through my filter, and it was immaculate. Like I usually don't do water changes on this tank because my fish are wild, and I only use carbon maybe every 2 weeks for a week. So what's that called? Every other week I'll run carbon, and that's why my water's green right now. But I've started to keep Corydoras. Is a fish that I've grown to love. Where's he at? There's the 2 little ones. Oh wait, crap, they're getting big now. These are just some, I guess, run-of-the-mill, but I love them. Run-of-the-mill Corydoras. And I want to start getting, different Corys, and I think I'm going to start a Cory tank, a separate system. Just run like Corys, and whoever wants to hang out with them. Yeah, I'll keep my bluegill tank going in this system, or not my bluegill tank, my native display tank going in this one. And then I might even just run everybody off the same filter and the same sump, and then put 2 or 3 more small medium-sized tanks together. we gotta learn how to drill glass. And we can do that. Super green. Cool. Let's do this for my records. He's still eating. Oh, buddy. Oh, what is that? Oh, wait, hold on. Where's he at? There's Floater. There's Floater. There he is. Let me see how long I can keep him in frame. I call this little guy, so I guess it's the smallest hybrid we have. I call him Floater. I named him Floater when I first got him because he would always play dead and float at the top. Now I guess he's probably second year now, or he's going on his third season of life, so probably 9 months old. Yeah, I think that was the only yearling that I got. Everybody else was, or all the other hybrid fish that we caught were over a year old. These fish, even in nature, don't grow very fast. If you know sunfish, I guess the world record, you know. I mean, this fish right here is 5.5 inches long. It's my biggest bluegill. It's a full-blooded. So what I'm thinking is a full-blooded sunfish. I have two. Well, these are actually rock bass sunfish, but whatever you want to call them. People don't really know what to call them. I just had to move over. He looks mean. I like him. He's like ugly. He's like the ugly ciclid, isn't he? Isn't he? These guys are like piranhas if you feed them something they really like. I've tried not to spoil them because my intentions were the whole time to have a native display tank, and I wanted to keep all my fish wild. So you're probably into tanks if you like my system, but I'm just doing this to show my homie. Actually, my friend that gave me these hybrids. Let's shoot out. His name's Fatty McFat. Thanks for the hybrids, Fatty. Love you. Bam. That fish is my homeboy. Yeah, he's my homie fish. Look at him. It's cute too sometimes because you'll see them school up. Actually, they like to school up on the slow side, but the current pushes down, so it kind of goes diagonally across my tank and then stirs up and comes up and into the drain, the siphon. I wonder how much. Maybe I should drill it on the top, but I want to overflow inside the tank. So I'm going to do that. I know it's going to be on one side of the tank will be my drain. On one side will be my overflow. What are you guys doing? You getting ready to fight? Don't fight. Alright, one last nice pan. But my camera sucks and my water is really bad, so. The sand bed looks so good. And there you are. Hey Corey. Your name is Corey.